Alrighty, going live, and we are live, I think. Let me know in the chat if you're online, if we're live. I'll just play some music, and you can also let me know if you hear that. It should work. Yep, let me know in the chat. Are you getting that? All right. Mark, thank you, brother. All right. Now, I'm just gonna add something to the chat before we get started. First of all, let me vent about Canon cameras. Honestly, I'm sure Canon must be one of the biggest camera brands in the world, right? Their cameras are super popular. They're not like some niche little company. Their apps are just absolutely terrible. So their like phone app to control the camera is like barely usable. It loses connection to the camera constantly. It's atrocious. And so I'm using a Canon camera as the webcam for this. And every time I turn it on, it needs to reinstall the software. It needs to update the software. Like it worked, say, 2 weeks before, and then it just doesn't work unless you do the update. The update takes super long and requires that you shut down the computer, all your apps, restart. It's terrible. For such a big company, they have the worst software. Anyway, end rant about Canon, but I don't know. If anyone in the chat uses a Canon camera and has those experiences, let me know. It blows my mind. Yeah. Damn microphone. How's everyone's weekend been so far? Just putting a link to submit tracks, because I always get asked during the stream. All right, let's get going then, hey? How's everyone's weekend been? First of all, hopefully people have been out raving or relaxing or doing something cool. Let me know what have you been up to. I just got back from Zurich last night. It was a super fun gig on Friday, and just been chilling this morning, and then here we are. Anyway, let's jump in. New one from Adria Falco. He's just been signed to my label Narratives. 2 tracks coming out in 2 weeks. Yeah, good stuff. So high hopes for this one. Let's have a listen. I'm loving this so far. This is really, really nice. Only thing I'm thinking is that pad in the start is a little bit dominating. I'd probably like have it a little bit more subtle, and then you could kind of fade it in. Once you've got more elements in, it doesn't seem as intrusive, but at the start I feel like it's maybe a bit much. This is really, really good, in my opinion. Did you play this guitar, or is this like a loop? It sounds really cool. It's got little Pink Floyd vibes or something.
The only thing that could stop me is you. The only thing that could stop me is you.
Steve Kelly in the chat. Welcome, brother. Amazing. I love that. That's just right up my alley. Also sounds, it's like exactly a style that I like, but also sounds quite fresh with like the guitar and stuff. Like, yeah, you don't hear that a lot in that kind of music. I love it. Yeah, the only thing that I said like at the start was the pad. Yeah, I still feel like it could be a little bit lower. So I would just basically like bring those pads down 5 or maybe even more dBs, and then just like maybe for the first 30 seconds or something, and then slowly fade them in over the next 30 seconds, excuse me. Yeah, bloody good. I've sent you a message on Instagram. I think we would be interested in that one. Okay, Ziff, is that how you say it, mate? Or ZIF, Ziff, El Pioloto, Let's go. Something feels funny about this kick. Maybe not with the bass line, but I feel like maybe the kick and bass is not strong enough for that, like, especially for that. It's a big build up. What's happening in the frequency spectrum? Yeah, okay, there. Right, so your fundamental of your bass is hitting right around 100. I think you need like a sub oscillator below that just to fill out that low end a bit more and make it feel a bit heavier. I think especially for this kind of style, like it's, I guess you're going for like a, yeah, like a kind of minimally tech house type thing. I think you need like a bit more heaviness in that bass, and that would probably fix. It kind of feels a little bit thin, and I think that would fix a bit of what I'm feeling. You could also even try just pitching the whole bass down one octave. That might make it kind of disappear because like the bass is quite bouncy at the moment. So it could be try both, I would say. Let's say if you've got like I don't know, if it depends what synth it is that you're using, or if it's a sample, then you'd want to replay it and use like you could experiment with either like a sine wave or a sawtooth wave. A sine wave maybe with adding a bit of saturation, filtering it out, letting the bass that you already have do most of the harmonic work. But yeah, I think that'll help. The drums don't feel bad, but like I feel like with a simple drum beat like this, like I mean the kick hat clap kind of combination, I think experimenting a little bit with just like different options until they really lock in. Could be a good idea. I feel like it's a very difficult thing to explain to get right, but the hint about how to get there I can give you is to do it in context. So do it like while the track's playing and cycle through different claps, different main hats until you kind of it's not like this is a great hat, this is a great clap. It's more like these work great together, and you'll kind of just hear it when something works and when something doesn't. Another thing that you can do then, so what I do is like, I don't know, I'm a bit over the top about this stuff. I'll try them and go like, oh, that one's good, and then I'll drag it into an audio track in the project, and then keep trying till I've got like 5 options that sound good. It's like a short list basically, and then I'll try those ones. So I'm kind of like, finding the best one, but it's not the best clap if I'm just listening through in the browser. It's more like the best clap in the context of this track. So I would do that, and the bass, and then everything else like the arrangement, production, all seems pretty solid actually. So good one, Mr. Dulce, regular on the show. This is giving me real like kind of EDM vibes, like back in the day, Afrojack, Swedish House Mafia, kind of Martin Garrix, that type of thing. Definitely not something that I'm into, but it's sounding well made. I mean, I've seen the progression of your production over the past couple of years, Dos. You definitely know what you're doing. This kind of like snare on every downbeat is weird. I don't know. Yeah, I think that snare on the downbeat is a bit whack. It kind of gives it this quite old school feeling as well, or kind of like an outdated kind of feeling. Like I said, kind of mid 2000s. I think like what you've done is really well done. I don't know. Someone else can tell me in the chat, is like music like this current? Are labels releasing this kind of stuff? I don't know. Feels a bit outdated to me, but that could just be because it's like outside of my sphere. Yeah. I don't really have the context to say whether or not it's done right. What is going on here? Look at this waveform. This is crazy. We're going to need some limiting on this, I guess. Why do you not have a kick? Can I ask that? Can you tell me?
Disco. It's like a currency. It's like a gas.
This is okay. So I think you might have you might be onto have a cool idea here. This is I'm going to go out on a limb here, James, and say this is the worst mixed track that we've ever had as a submission on the channel. So, and I'm not trying to be a dick here. I'm not trying to be like mean or something. It is just like really badly mixed. But I'm going to explain why and what you can do about it. So look, if you look at here at Adria's track, which is really well mixed, we can see here, these are the kick drums, right? When we look at yours, I think this is a clap. And this is a kick. There's a kick, and it's got a vocal on top. So the vocal is actually making it seem louder than it is. Like, especially now in 2025, house and techno is kick driven. You know, your kick is the loudest thing. If we look at the waveforms of any of these tracks, you can see here's the kick, here's the bass, here's the kick, here's the bass. So you've got these super loud effects, like this clap fill here, which is like being crushed by the limiter. But like, I can't even hear the clap. Like, yeah. Yeah, I think okay, it sounds like it's not a terrible kind of idea, but I think you really got to get the foundation right. And this could, like, okay, if you could be working in your bedroom on headphones or whatever, but like, just drag in a reference track and look at, you can learn so much just by looking at someone else's track. And you can see basically, you know, just by looking at this waveform, you can see, okay, that's the volume of the clap compared to the volume of the hat, right? Or in here, we can see there's the volume of the bass compared to the volume of the kick. Same here, you know. So let's say you do that with a track that's in a similar style to what you're trying to produce. Like, so in this kind of more deep house type thing, you can see in Adria's track, which is really well produced, the bass is comparatively a bit quieter than the bass in this track, right? Do that with some really, really top tracks in the genre that you're trying to do, and you'll get like a more of an understanding of how the mix balance is, you know, and then you can apply that. This, yeah, as this is, that's the feedback I can give you. Okay, let's have a listen. I don't know. Just for now, I just don't think that kick is the right kick for the track, but let's see how things progress.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
might not even be like necessarily a bad kick. I think maybe you've sampled it from somewhere. It's just got a lot of frequencies in there that are, you can kind of see here, like look at the transient, it's so heavy. And we can look in the EQ. Let me bring this here. So like, I mean, whatever, I shouldn't, the kick is not the be all and end all of the track, but when something's kind of not right, it can, because the track sounds pretty cool to me, but when something's not right, it can kind of like overshadow the good parts of the track. Yeah, so there's some serious issues happening in this kick. I would look for another one, but yeah, there, around, like, it's got this real kind of snare sound on it. Okay, now let's have a listen to the track and see how it sounds.
I may say a word. I may say a word like.
Sounds better, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the power of like sound selection, right? So something as simple as just like choosing the right kick can be the kind of make or break of your track. And it's not like a kick is inherently bad. That one could be great for a different type of track, but for this kind of like groovy deep house type thing,
Yeah.
terrible.
If you true to yourself and true to where you come from. That's gonna always be you.
Okay, I think I actually really like the track, which is funny. It does feel a little bit like you could use maybe a little bit more kind of atmosphere, a little bit more reverb, a little bit more delay on some of the sounds.
Making it beat. Yeah.
Okay, and this kind of feels like you're still building up the track in what essentially is the outro, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of the main part of the track. But this feels more like the main part of the track. Does this feel like bigger than the middle of the track?
Yeah.
You know? So you want to have like, if you think about the track as like kind of telling a story, or I mean, just from a completely functional perspective, if you're mixing in another track here, it's not going to make sense when the energy of this track is still building, and it means that you've got like the main part of your track that's supposed to be standing alone and doing its thing when someone's playing it as a DJ. You're kind of still waiting for the main, or for the to get to where it's going, right? So you've got like 3 minutes of the track playing, and once the track is ending, you're kind of getting to the peak part. It just doesn't really make sense from an arrangement perspective. The other thing at the start, I think you could have like a very low in the mix pad going on, but while that maybe it does sound like quite a lot, I think the track is really pretty cool, and I would be interested to hear it again when you fix it up a bit. The arrangement is like, so say for signing it, the arrangement is like a absolute no, From a the kick would be make it an absolute no, but that's easy. You just find a kick that works, and then some of the atmosphere stuff would need to be improved. But I think there's a pretty clear path of how, because I think the idea, the vibe is really cool. I think there's a pretty clear path towards this being something that I would sign. Oh, we got a loud one here. Look at this sausage. What are we working with? Yep, you're coming down 2 dB. So when people talk about Spotify volume, what do you call it? Volume, not punishment, volume. Basically Spotify turning down the volume and that being like a negative thing. What they're doing is turning down the volume so that your track doesn't sound way louder than the track that got played before it. It's not a negative thing. It's about the end user experience. Yeah, I think it's, let me have a look at the waveform here. Yeah. I think your mix is not good enough to have this level of compression on it. And what's happening is it's really over, like it makes the track feel really like, I don't know, like it's just, there's no space in it. It feels like the drums are too forward. That clap is just like overbearing. I think, unless you feel like your mix is really, really, really good and you really know what you're doing, I don't think most kind of beginner or intermediate producers should be trying to master their tracks to like -6 LUFS. And I don't think, from what it sounds like, that a track in this style is going to benefit from being mastered that loud either.
Nothing came before it.
So you can hear now the clap is just like, it's kind of sounding quite nice, but this vocal sounds way in the background, the bass is in the background, the clap is just smashing me in the face every time it plays. It's just like masking all the other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a cool track in here, but the mix and mastering is just hiding it from me. Yeah, definitely now it's sounding nice. But it's really tiring and not very pleasant to listen to. Like, if I compare that to, like, say, Adria's.
The only thing that could stop me is you.
Yeah. So I think you need to, like, especially even for me to be able to give proper feedback, it's really difficult for me to get past the fact that it sounds so aggressive and unpleasant because of the amount of limiting. And it's also like I said at the start, your mix is not perfect, but it's making it even worse. It's kind of like pushing some of the things louder, and when they're already maybe a bit too loud. It's accentuating some of the problems. yeah, I think unless you feel really, really comfortable with your mixing and mastering, I think subtle is better. I think it's always beneficial to check your track with some decent amount of limiting, but not that much. We're going to need a bit of limiting on this one. Let's bring it up. So this is in terms of going back to that Spotify loudness penalty. That's the thing I was trying to think of before. What you would want to avoid with that is sending Spotify a track that was too quiet, because either they're going to turn it up and it's going to get, basically then you don't have control over the sound of it, right? So if you send a track that's like, basically upload your pre-master and it's really quiet, because there's this minus 14 LUFS thing that everyone talks about, then at some point Spotify might be compressing your track, and you don't want that, because that affects the way it sounds. If Spotify sees that your track is like -8, -9 LUFS, and they turn it down a bunch in volume so that it doesn't sound distinctly different to the track before and after it in terms of volume for the listener, that's no problem, because you've controlled the amount of compression and the sound of it, right? It's just being played at a slightly lower volume so that the person who is listening to it doesn't perceive it as being louder or quieter. But you're controlling, you are deciding the characteristics of that compression and how it's being applied, right? If you submit something that's lower than their threshold, then they need to dictate that. That's a problem. That pad in the background sounds pretty static, too static, I think. You put a bit of chorus, reverb, delay, some, chucking like an auto filter or something on it, with a bit of LFO, just subtly. Chain the rate down. Just get some movement into it, basically. I think your hats and stuff are a bit quiet. Sound selection, the sound selection in the hats is quite nice, actually. I think they're in general a bit quiet, and the balance between the shakers and the main, like, I guess it almost sounds like an open shaker, but really nice sound. I think the balance is a little bit off. Cool sound there. Okay, let's just listen to this break. Right. So there's like in the arrangement here, there's a kind of a big problem. You're introducing this really cool, like, acidy ARP thing. You're kind of teasing it in, and then it's building up. Then this little anticipation bit before it drops, it's a nice idea, but the execution is not quite right. Like, you need the right amount where you're going like, ah, and then when it drops, it's got to be so satisfying, right? So it's like, but that needs to like have delay and stuff after, not this like chord thing. So the guitar thing, it could work, but I think like better would be to have this happen a little later. So there's kind of like a bit of a pause from this big acid riff. Not this like sweep thing. Like, so the acid riff with reverb and delay is like kind of still kind of there. And then there's kind of like little pause, anticipation, what's going to happen. And then you slam back in with the beat and the acid riff on top. And then it's hands in the air like rave time, you know. Obviously it's not like a peak time hands in the air track, but that would give it its moment, you know, to then feel like, everything that we've been waiting for in the track is coming together in this moment, right? Also, in order to do that more effectively, I would probably have that happen at least a minute earlier. You know, so what you could do, if you don't want to have like the hands in the air rave moment kind of thing too long, you could bring this all forward, take out this section, have the like acid thing come over the drop here. Then you could have like a bridge with this part with the kick and bass, then go back to your groove without the acid riff, right? And I think that would tell the story in a much more exciting way. I don't know if we're going to get through these tracks. We might be here all night. So I think the tambourine sound is quite a bit too loud. I think you should probably drop that by maybe 3 to 5 dB and add in like an offbeat hat that's kind of driving it, or it might be like even like an offbeat shaker, kind of like was used in the last track. So you've got a bit more kind of drive to it, and then the tambourine is like giving the vibe kind of thing. You've got like a bit of kind of shuffly percussion and stuff, but it would be cool to have something in the like low mid area, or like conga or bongo or something, and just something to give a bit more groove to the, you know, you've got these bongos here, but they're quite high. You might have even cut out some of the low end. So I kind of would want something that gives a little bit of groove in the track. Those are kind of like happening in a part of the frequency spectrum where they don't really have a lot of like body. So now you've got the hat in, but it's like an open hat. So I think you want something that's like, in terms of like the hierarchy of energy, you want something that's a bit lower to be there, like I was saying before, and then you can bring the open hat on top or instead of. I do like that vocal. Yeah, you can kind of, I think I know what something that might be happening here. Okay, I'm gonna, is that a bass there? Okay, I'm gonna try and turn off these kicks for a second. Just roughly, so that's kick there. Is it? Yeah. Right, so what I'm trying to see, there's the F sharp. I believe that's the bass. Okay, actually there's somewhere earlier where I could hear the bass, right? No. No, I must have been mistaken. Okay. Now, where I can hear the kick just by itself here. Okay, sorry, I thought I was gonna see that the kick and bass were tuned to the same frequency. That's not the case. So, but the yeah, I think like the kick and the bass are a bit too dominant in the mix, and it's really kind of throwing things off. Again, let's use Adria's track because it's really well mixed as an example. So you can see like yours, it's just kind of like the low end is dominating because those tambourines are so high in the mix. It's like they're getting, it feels like a bit aggressive but a bit dull because the main kind of backbone of the foundation of the beat is not loud enough. And then because it's then you're like adding a decent amount of limiting, and then that's kind of pushing those things like the tambourines up even louder. So I think in terms, for me personally, I really, really like this vocal. I think it's awesome. I think like the melodic parts that you're using are not very interesting. They're kind of like cool sounds, but they're pretty similar sounds. It's not got much separation from the bass. There's not really much in a higher frequency. Everything that you've got there is like in quite a low mid kind of frequency. So there's not really a lot of distinction between the elements and separation. So yeah, I think there's a lot that can be done here. But I feel like the idea or the core of the track is like really cool. Well, basically the vocal sample is really cool. So I think there's potential there, for sure. I'm just going to move into the middle of the track for a second and add some limiting. What I'm going to do here is add limiting to your track, even though it's maybe not what you intended, but that's what would happen if it was mastered, right? So your track is going to change. So we're going to get it to a similar loudness. Right, so I'm going to add here, maybe down to 5 dB, we'll see. It's about right. Okay, so now we're going to listen to it based on that, and everyone should be doing this on their own tracks because your track is going to be mastered. Whether or not you're good at mastering is irrelevant. It's going to be mastered, so you need to know you need to get an idea of what that's going to sound like, right? You can do that by just adding limiting and getting it to a certain volume. I think somewhere between -8 and -9 LUFS is a good kind of industry standard for most more like underground house music kind of stuff. If there's even such a thing as underground, but whatever. That's a different topic for a different day. So now instantly we can hear open hat too loud, clap too loud. Really like those congas, but we can also see that in the waveform, I think. Yeah, kick, clap, boom, boom. I would probably start out with a smaller, tighter kind of closed hat or offbeat shaker or something, and then add in that open hat to like switch it up a gear. Clap's just way, way too loud. I have a tendency to make my claps too loud as well, so I always make sure every track basically that part of what I'm doing is checking whether I've done that, and inevitably I pretty much always do, and then I bring them down and I reference them against other tracks that I feel are well mixed, and I've got a series on my YouTube channel called like Mixing Made Simple or something like that. It's like 3 videos about balancing your mix, balancing the elements of your mix, and there's some kind of like relative volume levels that I try to work with as a starting point. So you can go check that out if you want to know more about how you can kind of start out on your way to getting a decent mix. Okay, cool vocal. The horn thing is a bit too loud. Also, like, so when I play the vocal and then the horn comes, they just sound totally different. Like the vocal's got like quite a bit of delay and maybe reverb on it, and then the horn feels much drier. And like, I'll just play it and see if you can hear what I'm saying. Yeah, like they just don't sound sonically connected at all. So what I would recommend doing there is like using sends on my template. Oh, whoops. I have like a drum reverb. I have like a hall reverb, which I call synth verb. Then I've got different delays and stuff. So I recommend using sends to kind of balance things in the mix in terms of like space. So basically, like if you have this vocal pretty much dry, and then you have this horn pretty much dry, and then you send them to the same reverb. Reverb is emulating like a real space, so they're going to sound like they're in the same real space, right? Simple, but often overlooked. Vocals a bit loud, and I think let me take off this limiting, and it might sound a lot more well balanced. Which just literally proves my point about the adding limiting so you can hear when you're mixing, right? You don't need to mix with a whole bunch of limiting on, but you definitely need to check your mix as you're going through it with limiting, because that's what's going to happen to your track after. So if you don't account for it when you're balancing the elements of your track, then your mix is going to sound different when you get it back from mastering. I've been there. Trust me, it's super annoying. Some really cool sound design and stuff in here. Yeah, it's nice. I think yeah, using good sounds and stuff, I think it's cool. The arrangement isn't necessarily maybe not the best. I don't know. It's not. I guess it's just doesn't feel like it's kind of telling a story. It's just happening. But that's up to you. What's the ride you're taking the listener on. It's not terrible, but it's not, the arrangement's not really, in my opinion, adding to the drama of the track. If you want help with the mixing, you can, same goes to everyone. I offer mixing as a service, so get in touch and I can help you out with that. If it's something that you feel like is not in your wheelhouse yet.
You know I love you.
Yeah, I think the kick's too quiet, or the kick's got a really hard transient, and then you've got a very loud clap, which is, so the transient of the clap and the kick are compounding, making that like second and fourth offbeat super loud. There's not really much, the vocal feels very crowded, like it's maybe distorting. See you, Steve. Thanks for popping in, bro. There's not, yeah, again, it's not feeling like there's much groove in the beat. Like it's not bad, but it's like just a couple of like kind of toms or congas or something, just to help create a bit of groove when the bass isn't in. Before I even met you. Thousands of loves and thousands of yeah, it's got a cool vibe. It doesn't feel like it's the best kind of put together. There's, like I said, there's a few, like I pointed out, there's a few sonic issues. Let me, I can do that same EQ thing, but I think. So the other, okay, let me try here. Yeah, like the combination of the kick, clap, and bass feels a bit awkward. None of the elements are necessarily bad by themselves, but together I don't feel like they're really complementing each other, especially at the volumes that they all are. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is about the arrangement. It's kind of like, it's not a intentional Spotify edit or streaming edit, because it's still 5 minutes long. If you're really trying to make a punchy edit for streaming in the current times, you're probably looking between 2 minutes and 3 minutes max. So therefore I'm going to say this is an extended mix or a club mix or whatever that's intended for a DJ to play, which then I'm like, why in the intro do you have the main vocal? So let's just say I'm DJing here and I hit play on the CDJ. Like, at that point, I'm probably still like getting it. If I haven't completely dropped it on the beat, I'm still like nudging it to get it in time, and then like bringing down the EQs and stuff, getting it ready to start to like bring in, and then it's like here, and you're already bringing in the bass line, and you've got more vocal happening, and then it's like, who's gonna hear this bit? Who's that for? And then all you've done is basically use a bunch of the elements of your track in a place where no one's ever going to hear, so that when this bit here, after still only 30 seconds, drops in, you've already got like the kick, bass, vocal, everything, like all of the main stuff of your track playing. So those bits can't be used to like assist in the arrangement and like make it more exciting. So I think you need to be more strategic about the way that you're bringing things in. See you, Adria. Are you off, mate? Oh, yeah, you're replying to Steve. Okay. Yeah, I think it's like a cool track. It feels like executed a little bit clumsy, but there's always room for improvement. Fernando Ortega, business in America. Sounding serious, mate. I think the business in America these days is tariffs. Quite a bold clap on this one too, but probably going to be more balanced when things are filled out. So, suntan beer, listening to like the intro of this, there's like, it's interesting, there's things happening, but there's lots of space. It's like slowly building up, but it hasn't given away anything, right? So when you kind of switch over the bass or something here at like 1 minute from the previous track that's playing as a DJ, you've still got so much more to go. You haven't like kind of given away the melodic theme of the track. You haven't given away the vocal theme of the track. I don't know if it's got a vocal or whatever, but I think you get what I'm saying. Like, you've made it interesting enough to keep the, so if it's listened to in this context, that it's not like just sounding terrible, but there's still so much more to give, right? Really like this, mate. This is great, Fernando. Etan, there's a pinned post about submitting tracks, mate. Just look at the top of the chat. Fernando, I would like to talk about signing this track. If you can hit me up on Instagram or something like that.
Congress after making some important progress.
Now there might be a touch too much distortion on that kind of main chord riff thing there, but maybe it's also yeah, there's quite a bit of limiting on the track. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's got a touch too much saturation, but I'd need to listen in my monitors, because it's not that crazy. It's yeah. Something else you could try is separating some of the melodic elements, just like panning them slightly differently. Like, so when this new synth comes in, where was it? You know, I think that could be quite cool if it was like over here on the left a little bit or something. Just make it, it'll just make the track feel a little bit spacious. Miss Vocal Bro No. David, maybe can you rephrase that? And I think the vocal could possibly be a couple of dBs louder. That might like make it a bit what do you call it? A bit harsh, but maybe something like Soothe or Gullfoss, or if you've got anything in that realm, could work to assist with that. Okay. Okay, so there were 2 tracks from this guy, which I don't normally do 2 feedbacks for one person, but I'm going to drag both of them in because I thought they were both quite good. I'm just going to try and give you some more general feedback, because I think they're both quite good, but not quite there. So let's take a listen. So I'm going to do this quickly. It's going to be quick feedback, but okay, so the balance of your mix is a bit off. Like some of the hats and stuff are too loud. The vocals and stuff are a bit quiet. But you're also like, you've got these like, I don't know, this percussion here. But then it's gone in the main part of the track. Like, it's kind of like so the reason I wanted to do both is because they're both quite different, but they both feel like cool ideas that are like there with the open hat. It's like kind of starting to get there, but then the vocal chops sound a bit clumsy. You got this really loud tambourine. it's like, I think it's a really cool, it's got a cool essence to it, but the execution is just really kind of letting it down. And I think you need to get the foundation right. So like just a really strong kick, bass, clap combination. Kick, clap, hat combination, and then bring in the bass, get that really nicely balanced. And then with the arrangement, right? So like, why the hell have you got this like upbeat open hat here in the outro, but you've got like in these main bits almost no hats, you know? Just, you need to get in there and reference some other tracks in terms of like the arrangement and the type of elements that you're putting in. But I think the vibe is really cool. Now this one, I guess I need to unwarp it. Yeah. David, do you do mixing classes one-to-one? Of course, mate. Hit me up. There's a link in the link in the description to my website, Weekend Audio. There's info there, or you can write me on Instagram if you want to chat about it or something. So this, again, I felt like there's like a cool essence to this track, but just like the kind of foundation is not strong enough to make it work. And then the arrangement is just like, so I think, you know, obviously this is like a really, really, really well-known vocal that I would probably have recommended voiding, but this bit here, you know, you could use that with a filter on it and kind of use it to kind of build up the vibe or something. I think that's got a really cool a really cool, interesting vibe to it. I don't know. I think that's more interesting than another track with Back to Life vocal. Yeah, so cool idea, some cool elements. I think, again, just need to reference and look at the execution. And then also, this is a recommendation to anyone. When you're thinking, okay, I'm going to sample a massive thing like this, you're creating complications. It's unlikely to get signed. And then it's also been done, you know, like what new are you, what are you adding to the world, you know, rather than rehashing an overplayed idea. And I think looking for, maybe you use that as a sample source, but you look for something that's a little bit more unique from it, and then try and flip it in your own way. So it's maybe less obvious, it still has that familiar feeling or sound or tonality, but it doesn't sound immediately like something that everyone's heard before. Alrighty. Hey Rich, hope you're good, buddy. David, you can submit, bro. I think I'll probably go for probably till about 4:30 or so. So I think we'll get through these, and there should be time for another one or two. I think these hats are, I don't know, it feels a bit too overbearing. I feel that the hats feel a bit too heavy for the track, at this, especially at this intro kind of stage. Right, I think this is really cool. I think the drums could be so much better. You've also, I think, another part of that is the amount of like limiting. Look at this sausage, mate. You know, you're ruining your track when you're doing this much to it. You're better off to send a demo with less limiting. And if that's how the label masters stuff, then they're going to have someone who can do that, execute that well, hopefully. Like this is close to something that, you know, that I would play or... Yeah, not a huge fan of their vocal, but yeah, the vocal's way too loud, but that could be to do with the amount of limiting. I think, you know, I think it's, you've got something here for sure. I mean, I think even Dynamic and stuff are putting out tracks that kind of sound like this. Like Max Styler kind of comes to mind. But you want that foundation, that beat to just be so good, you know. When things are simple, there's nowhere to hide, right? So you've got to really focus on like sound selection and balance, like getting all the elements working well together, and then like details in the simplicity. So like panning things like specifically so that they sound separated, so that despite the track having like the beat having not too many elements in it, it sounds kind of full, and that happens by the balance and the sound selection. Yeah, it's a really good track. I think if you fix that up, it could be... I mean, someone would sign that anyway, but I think in order for it to be considered by like a top label or something, you want to make it better. Have you ever heard the term boxy about a kick? I'm just going to see if that's got the low end taken out of it, but nope. Like that kick sounds so bad to me. Not often, but in this case I think that's just an objectively really bad sounding kick, which it's not the most important thing in your track. It's not going to make your track, but it certainly will break your track. Like the bass sounds pretty cool, and the bass would sound way cooler with a kick that wasn't so weird and boxy. And the kind of, you've got this simple beat there going on with the kick, clap, hat, and then this little fill. I think the combination of kick, clap, and hat, not good enough. They're not like, you can literally have those three elements playing together and it feel like something that you want to listen to for a long time. This does not have that feeling, so I think you just need to fix you need to fix those combination and get them so they just work together super solid. I really like the vocal. The vocal compared to that like resonant weird synth, the volume difference is just like that weird synth thing is way too loud, the vocal's too quiet. Now the vocal sounds too loud and it sounds like too thin. It's got too much of the body EQ'd out of it. That like weird synthy sound is like got too much reverb on it, and it's different reverb to some of the other elements have. So I think it's a good track that's kind of maybe executed badly would be. And I think, I think you could fix up those foundational elements, like I said, and then a few of the other bits and pieces and some of the balance. When I say balance, I mean volume balance. And you could get like a massive win. You could get it like 50% better. I don't know. The percentage, I guess, is quite arbitrary. Ramir, another man in the chat that we just signed to Narratives. The boys are back in town. All right. This like percussion stuff that you've got sounds like it's kind of whack. I don't know. The sounds are just, they don't fit with the other sounds. They're not complementing. It can be really difficult to. It sounds like stuff that you've programmed yourself, so I don't want to like be too mean about it, but it doesn't matter actually if you programmed it yourself, or you're using like chopping bits out of a loop or whatever. It still has to sound good in the end, and then that's my opinion and my approach. Is like, it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter how you got there. It doesn't, whether a synth comes from a original mini Moog from 1982 or a plugin or a sample. No one who's listening to it in the end can hear that, you know. If it sounds good, it is good. And same with like if you played percussion yourself, or you chopped it from a loop, or I don't know, you got some AI drum thing, or I don't know, however you got that percussion, doesn't really matter, doesn't really add value unless it's making it sound better. Hope that makes sense. So these like synth stabs, you can see it in the waveform. They're way louder than other things, so they stick out a lot. They're quite harsh. I think the sounds are good. They're probably the right sound for the track, but they're just a bit too loud in the mix. Also, this says it's mastered at 100% with Thunder. Then why is there so many peaks? I don't know. I don't recommend anyone to use these like automatic mastering things. I recommend you to just get a limiter, pull it down till it's about -9 LUFS, and then if you don't know how to do more, then just leave it at that. When I'm sending demos to labels, a lot of the time, the mastering that I am applying to the track is that simple. You know, if my writing and my mix is good enough, then I can make a demo or a like kind of DJ master to try in the club, just using like Waves L2 limiter to add some loudness. This is wild, bro. Like, what's happening after this drop? Does that make sense to anyone in the chat? Please let me know. Does that make sense? That's wild, bro. That is not, you know, you really need to think about the expectations that you're creating with this. It sounds like that whole bit could be like cool in a different track, but that is not for this track. Like, it's it's insane. Yeah, yeah. Just, I think maybe like try to have a vision of the end result, like what, you know, like, or try like mixing it with another couple of other tracks and see like, does that work? I mean, yeah, I don't think it does. I don't know. I think you've done something cool there, but it's not something for this track. Yeah. And I just want to say, I'm not trying to like take the piss out of you or like, you know, make you feel bad. I'm trying to like, you know, it's just objectively not good for the track, and I think it's important that I point that out. And it was so much so that it felt kind of funny. So I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I think your hats might be a little touch too loud, Marcel. Especially for the type of hat it is. It's quite bright. It's got like this quite tambourine characteristic to it. So I would probably bring it down a little bit. So yeah, I'm ducking it by 4 dB there, and it sounds a bit nicer, I think.
You make me feel alive. You make me feel
Yeah, I think your bass is too quiet and your hat's too loud, but I really like this. Let's chat about it. I think it could be cool for releasing. I don't know if it's something for narratives. It's kind of a bit more in the progressive direction than what we're doing, but I've got another idea for you, so hit me in on Instagram or something. You make me feel alive. You make me feel. I think this break for the type of track, like, yeah, I'm not convinced by it. I feel the track feels like a kind of like somewhere in between deep house and progressive house, and like the time or setting where I would be playing this track, this break feels like inappropriately, like it's coming down too far. Like if this was like it might be like, say, a warm up for a big, like, maybe in a big, 500 to 2,000 person open air stage or something like that, and it's kind of like the warm up set there, and then you kind of have this section where it just feels like it's come down a little bit too far. You're filtering out a bit too much of those, and there's like no low end for, I don't know, what is that, 40 seconds. Let's see what happens here on the build. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a snare build. Actually, really nice already. Yeah, this is really good. I just literally think that there's a part of this that's too much. Like, let me just remove that. No, that doesn't quite work either, but I just think it doesn't need to come down that far in the break. So, yeah. I'm going to say bass up maybe like 3 dB, that main hat down 3-4 dB-ish. Fix up that so it doesn't kind of come down so much, and
Feel alive.
I don't know, it's a tough one because like so you've got the bass and stuff in there, but then when this comes back in here, it sounds really cool. I really like that. You could even have a bit more low end there, and I think it would just have a bit more drama. So I think coming down to this is cool, but maybe not in such a gradual way. So you kind of keep it a bit. You're kind of really coming down over the course of 30 seconds, is it? No, 1 minute. Yeah. So I think just kind of keeping it more gradual, maybe cut out some time from here. At some point, I think you want to get to this so that this has the right amount of impact. But I think you're just sucking too much energy out of the track with this kind of build down. Something sounds weird about the clap on this, mate. It's like it's hitting, like it's kind of got a pre-clap sound, but in a strange way. There we go. It does. So I think the pre-claps, I don't know, it's not, maybe not right for the track, or maybe it's happening a bit too early. Maybe it's a layer, and you could either try shifting it onto the kick, shifting it onto the kick or a bit closer to the kick, taking it out. Yeah, something feels off about it though. Yeah, I really like the vibe on this, mate. Let's chat, because I know I've got a couple of other demos from you that let's try and figure out something. Yeah, let's have a chat about that, Ryan. So I like the vibe, but I think it could be executed a bit better. Really like that bass. I think you've got too much compression on this, it's just crowding the track, making the hats feel too bright, making it feel too kind of, it doesn't feel like there's space in the track. Yeah, I don't know. Also, like the arrangement, let me just see there. Okay, you've got, so like when I look at it like this, I can't even see that there's a break here. So okay, so we got a break here. Yeah! Go!
Yeah, my dad can be bumper. You know we are.
Yeah, the arrangement isn't really working. It kind of just feels like the same thing happening over and over again. Doesn't really have like a arc. You kind of start with quite a lot of the elements in. You bring in this guitar, which is like cool. It changes it a little bit, or something. It's something different happening, but it's also not the most convincing element in the track. It's all right, The vocal's really cool. The vibe is really cool. The bass I really like. The drums feel too crowded, too over compressed. I think the amount of compression is making the open hat feel too overbearing. This has got a really nice vibe here. If I pull down the hat a little bit. Really cool. So, but then again, like I think you onto something there. I would just like check some reference tracks, see what you can do, how you could like reimagine the arrangement a bit, and then ease back on some of the compression, and then adjust your mix from there. So I'm a bit conflicted about this one, Luca, because I really like the intensity of this breakbeat that you've got. It is very punchy, and then the vocal is very gentle. So I feel like this combination is, it's this kind of like almost like, soft R&B kind of vocal. Whereas if you had something that was like a little bit more, maybe not diva-ish, but a bit more full sounding, I think it could work better for this beat. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Let's see if I... I think if the balance was a little bit more like that, and then the vocal was a little bit more in front, like in volume wise, then I think it might work better. How does this? Yeah, I'm a bit conflicted because I really like how it sounds in full, but I think it's not working to let the vocal kind of be the star of the show. I think that would be my main feedback for this. I think the writing's really nice, super nice chords. I really like the punchiness of the break. Solid bass. I like the tone of the bass. Yeah, really good. Already like those congas.
Into everything I own, I faced my demons and did it all alone. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into everything I own. I faced my demons and did it all alone. I won't suffer no
more. I feel like the vocal sounds a bit overcompressed. I'm not sure if you've processed that yourself or if it's kind of came like that. But okay, so it could be that it's being compressed by the limiter you've got on there. You can see how much limiting is happening here when the vocal happens. So it's just really like overly compressing everything and creating a bit of audible distortion.
I won't struggle no more. I faced my demons and did it all alone. I won't suffer no more. Oh!
always like amazing songwriting, Andy. It makes me feel quite out of my depth in terms of like the musicality of your tracks. Always very impressive.
I won't suffer no more. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into everything I own. I faced my demons and did it all alone. I won't suffer no more. Oh, I won't struggle no more. I won't struggle no more. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into everything I own. I faced my demons and did it all alone. I won't suffer no more.
Yeah, I think the vocals are a bit loud and the compression's a bit over the top for the track.
I won't suffer no. 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 I faced my demons and did it all alone. I won't suffer no more.
Yeah, so nice, Andy. Yeah, just a little bit of it's just some slight mixing stuff and the master. But I feel like, I don't know, what's Defected's like sub-label? Do they have like a soulful house kind of, this kind of like old school house? Maybe Glitterbox or something, could be, I don't know. I think maybe it's like the specific labels are not really coming to my mind right now, but I think you could definitely release this. It's amazing. You're really, really good at the writing aspect of house music, dude, in a way that I kind of can't even really comprehend. I guess it's like a much different style to what I do, but yeah. Okay, so here you've brought in kick and bass you've brought in the LSD jackies. I feel like it's like a bit more I don't know, a bit more kind of throwback than Jackie's. Jackie's has got a bit of a more modern twist to it. Maybe. Could be though. It sounds very like something that would do really well on TrackSource. Anyway, let's get back to this one. Dark One Master 4-1. Okay, anyway. For Dark One Master 4-1, I would say here, kick. I think you probably want to bring in, you're bringing in two kind of quite important elements at the same time in full. So I think you could, what have I just done there? I think you could basically bring in the bass or the synth. And if you with the synth, I think you should have the cutoff pulled down and just kind of bring it in a bit more gently, kind of tease it in. And when you're doing an offbeat bass like this, it's really, really, really vital that you get the balance right. And I feel like in this, you don't quite have the balance right. So if you don't have the right balance between the kick and the bass, it becomes too robotic feeling, and it just feels like, yeah. And it's very, very easy to have it feel too robotic feeling. Things to look for is, or to also work on, is like the length of the bass. That will help with that. Like if the offbeat bass line is too short, too stabby, it's going to make it feel more robotic. I mean, I sometimes use like offbeat bass lines like this, and they generally take quite a bit of fine tuning. I would probably leave this synth out. Bring in this. Maybe you could. Maybe you could bring in a pad or something and slowly build it up to here. And then you've got this like arpeggio that's coming in, I think. So you can bring in the arpeggio there without the synth. Okay, so this synth that you brought in here and the arpeggio sound like they're two different elements that are not really doing anything related to one another. They feel just too separate. So they're in a similar kind of part of the frequency spectrum. They're both like playing full riffs. Like I think with this synth that you bring in here, if this was my track, instead of having it playing every bar, I would have it play every 4 bars maybe. You experiment between 2 and 4 bars. Then when you bring in this kind of ARP thing, that's going to be playing over a shorter pattern. And then this synth that you brought in first is going to actually make the track feel like it's looping over a longer period of time by extending the space between when those things play. Like now it just feels like the track starts to feel chaotic. And now you've got more this kind of organy sound. Maybe that's the arpeggio that I was talking about. You're opening it up. No. So you want to have some of these musical elements happening over different kind of phrases. Everything feels like it's just happening in 2 shorter loops to me. But the vibe of the track is really cool. I think you could be there, or you could improve that quite a lot by implementing some of those things that I mentioned. Right, so this is a bootleg of a track that I used to own on vinyl many, many years ago. I think it came out about 2002. I could double check that on Discogs. I might do that while we listen. It's a heavy snare. I would probably say a too heavy snare. Now I don't want to blow my own trumpet too much, but released 2002. I was right. I think that the snare sounds. I don't think it's great. I think with a different sound, it could be way better. The track could be way better. I kind of feel like maybe you've got a bit too much going on in the drums as well. Like it feels a bit overcrowded. I'm not sure if you're using loops or what, but it feels like there might be a few too many elements in there. Often it's better to you can get a track sounding like really powerful by using less elements and kind of mixing it better. Right, I think it's a cool idea. Obviously, I like the original. I'd get to that point, like rather than this kind of teasing so much, I'd get to that bit way sooner. Then you can have maybe a bit where you don't have the vocals for a lot longer. Excuse me. And then come back to it. I feel like the drums are not executed as well as they could be. Feels maybe a bit overcrowded. That snare just feels kind of wrong for the track. It makes the track feel a little bit outdated and a little bit I don't know. It kind of ruins the groove a little bit. I mean, even with what I'm saying with the drums is like changing that snare, I would do that first, and then maybe even what I'm saying about the drums being too crowded would not feel the same way. But it's just such a dominating, weird, white, noisy, fizzy sounding snare that might be right in a totally different kind of track. Yeah, that would be my thoughts. Try to, like when you're imagining the arrangement, try to like just think about what's going to be best for that. Even if it's, even if this is like, say, I guess your ideal would be that Hernan was playing this or something like that, or John Digweed or whatever, you know, like their set, you kind of need to trust the DJ. They're going to set it up so there's anticipation. You want to get to, I think you want to get to the payoff sooner in this one. Yeah. Okay. Mr. Business. Can't stop, won't stop. It's a hectic beat. I mean, the open hat is pretty intense. So, I mean, I guess it's a 909. I love a good 909 hat, but you want to try and make sure that the length of the hat and the volume of it is working in the best way for the track. I think, I really like the sample. It's obviously a very well-known house sample. I feel like just having that in there is doing a lot of the heavy lifting of the track. Like if you took out the vocal, I think the track would sound pretty bland. Obviously it's got the M1, I guess it's an M1 piano. Some of these other synth sounds that you've got in there are really adding to the atmosphere. It's cool. Cool bass sound. Is that an organ bass now too? So these kind of so you've got the organ bass and the piano and stuff, and they're I don't know, it's starting to feel like too much, like kind of things that are doing the same, they're kind of doing the same thing, but they're not complementing each other enough. It's the patterns aren't speaking to each other, I think, is the issue for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's always gonna, in my opinion, it's always gonna have an elevated score if I was to rate it out of rated out of 10 or something because I really like the vocal sample. Yeah, but I think the vocal sample is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Okay, last one, other side. This looks like it's also very limited. It's been a theme today, right? There's always a theme. There's always a theme. What the fuck is that? Excuse me. Excuse me, YouTube. What the hell is going on with that bass? Kick, sorry. How low is that? Bruh. Why are your kick tuned that low? Bruh. Your kicks sound bad that low. I don't understand why your kick is tuned so low. Okay, so it's not a rule. You can do whatever you want, but if for the style of music that you're listening to, if you reference 100 tracks, I will say that, so the fundamental of your kick is hitting at D sharp. If you reference 100 tracks, I'm going to say 95% of them, I'm saying 95% minimum, will be hitting with the kick on between F sharp and A. And probably 90% of them, 85% of them will be hitting with the kick on G sharp. On G. It's just, the kicks just sound better there. It's just, I don't know. It's not a rule. Like I said, you do what you want, but your kick sounds bad. It's creating like too much separation between the kick and the bass. It's making your track sound overly low. Are these elements from my sample pack or from a project file that I've put up? There's no, the person hasn't put their name in the track, but they sound really familiar.
Life comes up with challenges.
It's from my sample pack. I think that vocal sounds like it's out of key.
Our will to survive on the other side. We take things day by day. Forget to lean in the curve to survive.
Right. Okay, so this is a lovely guy that I met on Friday in Klaus in Zurich, where I was playing, and I guess, and you've seen me some other tracks, right? Sorry, I just clicked. Yeah, kick's wrong. I think I mean, I'm honored that you like my sample pack so much, but I think you're using too much from the same kind of source, and probably like try to do something a bit more than just put a bunch of like loops and stuff together. I'm going to check, is the vocal out of key? I might be wrong, but it sounded a bit weird. So that seemed like it was an F. Right, so what are these?
It seems life.
Okay.
It seems life comes up. It seems where we bend, where we.
Okay. So I haven't put a key label on them, but yeah, it does sound like it's a bit out of key for the track. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, like I think it's cool to use sample packs. I use sample packs, but you always want to, bring your own spin. And if you are going to use like a lot of loops, which plenty of people do, to make your tracks, get them from different places. Chop them up, just, I would say just do a bit more. And I am going to go out on a limb here and say that the kick is, maybe it's from my pack. I can't imagine that I would put a kick that was that low in it. I don't think, unless you've pitched it down. Anyway, obviously I like the vibe because I like the elements, but I think like
Where we bend, where we break, or come out stronger.
yeah, the vibe's cool. The mix is a bit off, and like try and bring a little bit more of your own flavor to it somehow. That's my best advice for that. All right, so let me just quickly check. We're going quite long today, but it's been fun. There's been some great tracks, a couple of questionable ones. It looks like we've come to an end. So, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks everyone for sending your stuff through. I know it can be quite scary to put your music out to the world, but and anyone who I gave feedback rather than praise, don't take anything personally. I'm trying to help. Sometimes I don't mean to be harsh. Everything's meant with love and respect, so hopefully you take it that way, and hopefully it helps you to improve. We will do this again soon. I'll probably be live streaming next weekend. My video editor is on a much needed, much deserved vacation, so I'm running solo at the moment. So we will be back to regularly scheduled YouTube videos soon, but probably until then we'll be doing a bit of live streaming. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Anyway, have a great Sunday and a great new week.